Hey guys, how are you? I hope you're all doing very well. This afternoon I'm going to be doing another movie review. This movie is a suspense movie from Argentina, Spanish language English subs, released in the year 2016, directed by Rodrigo Grande, and this film is called At the End of the Tunnel. So At the End of the Tunnel is about this man. He's a computer engineer. He's very smart as far as technology is concerned, but he had a traumatic experience in the past that has resulted in him being confined to a wheelchair. So he's very depressed. The only person he's got as company, or only thing he's got as company, is his dog, and so this massive house he believes is wasted. So he wants to advertise for a room for rent, and so this comes in the form of a beautiful woman with a daughter, and they say they would like the room, so he agrees to this, and this is basically his life now. So one day he's working away in the basement, and he overhears next door a group of ruthless criminals talking about a bank job. Now this bank job is going to actually create a lot of money, and they're going to start building an underground tunnel which is going to go underneath this guy's house. So he starts to suspect, okay, something is happening, and this plan that if he can actually use their plan against them, he can actually get to the money first. So they don't know that he can actually listen to everything they're saying, and he's starting to write everything down in order to try and implicate this plan himself. And but he knows that if he gets exposed, he's going to suffer a very brutal fate. So the further the movie goes along, he starts to develop this relationship with this woman, and this is where he starts to realize that there is more to these people than he first thought, and things are about to get very complicated. There's a lot of twists and turns that are going to put him right in the firing line, and whether or not he can get to the money is something you're going to have to find out for yourself, because that's as far as I'm going with my synopsis. Now my thoughts on At the End of the Tunnel. This, as I said, this is an Argentina/Spain co-production. So this movie does feel like it has a very European flavour. And my problem with Argentine cinema is that unless you're involved in the culture and you're actually interested in Argentine history, a lot of films stay confined to that specific country. And so it's not really going to bank itself on making millions as far as spreading itself worldwide. There are a few films, case in point, The Secret in Their Eyes, and you've also got Nine Queens. You've also got a film called The Clan, which really made it on a world stage, and those films feel like they have a lot of confidence, but a lot of other films feel like they don't have the confidence, and that they're just staying confined, that they're happy enough to staying confined to a local audience, which I think is a great shame. It's because it does have a lot of competency, Argentine cinema, but I just don't think it has the confidence to really shine through. But I thought At the End of the Tunnel really shines through is because it feels like it has the confidence, because it knows it is getting helped by a country that is very established as far as foreign cinema is concerned, in Spain. And so when you see this film, you see, okay, you've got some very good Argentine actors, you've got some Argentine scenery, but you've got that Spanish influence. You've got the influence of films such as Juan Balaguero's, the Rec series. You've also got Sleep Tight, where it's all about the atmosphere. It's all about the cinematography playing a character of its own. And so this movie feels like that. Yes, okay, you've got some good actors such as Pablo Echari, who is a fantastic Argentine actor. You've got an Argentine director, you've got some Argentine, set in Buenos Aires, so you've got the Argentine flavour, but at the same time you've got that European heart, you've got the European punch that makes it very entertaining. And so the best part of this film by far is the cinematography, is because it captures the tense moments very, very well. It captures the dirtiness, it captures the fear, it captures the panic. You actually feel as though you're on the edge of your seat for the majority of this film. You feel like as though you're chewing your fingernails, that you're going to have no fingernails left after the film, is because it understands that light entertainment that the movie wants. It understands everything it wants in order to create that sense of panic. It create that sense of awkwardness, that you're never quite sure whether or not these criminals are actually going to catch this guy, and that the implications of being caught are going to be catastrophic, is because you actually feel that these criminals are ruthless. And the movie does show some shocking violence, but I thought the violence was very necessary in indicating the consequences, indicating that this is what happens if you betray these people. So you get that extra sense of fear, in that there are some criminals, there are some villains out there in movies that don't feel very intimidating. So you feel as though, okay, if I'm caught, I'll just get a slap across the wrist. I don't really care. But when you've got ruthless criminals, you actually feel, okay, if this guy is caught, he's going to lose his life. So you don't want that to happen. And so when these very nerve-wracking things are happening, it gives you that extra sense of fear, is because, okay, if this guy is caught, he's not going to be the same. So I really liked that. I thought the cinematography reminded me of films such as Panic Room, so it's very unique, and it feels like a movie with a lot of confidence. And because it's got a lot of confidence, it's trying things. Not everything works, but you can applaud it for what it wants to do. And so for that, I actually really like this film. So the score was very good. It was very haunting, and you've got some moments, as I said, of just unnerving action, and then right at the end, it really does cap off, and it does become a rewarding experience. And so I really like that. Unfortunately, though, the the movie is not brilliant, and the fact that it's not brilliant I think was a disappointment, because it did shape up a little few areas. It could have been an absolutely fantastic film. Now the depth of this film is ultimately the problem, is that you've got these characters who are very interesting. You've got a traumatic background behind this guy in the wheelchair, but nothing is ever really gone into. It's all sort of indicated, it's all implicated. It's an implication of really bad things that aren't really put out into the forefront. And if it was put out into the open, I actually thought it could have given these characters a little bit more depth. It could have given these criminals even more fear factor. But you've got all of these people who are playing in this film, and you feel as though the movie wants to be an entertaining movie as opposed to something that is going to really hit you on a psychological level. Now, I think that this movie is superficial in its psychology, in that, as I said, this guy is almost caught, but all of a sudden he just gets out there in time. And so that is the sort of easy suspense you can create, but you can create a lot more depth to characters. It makes those suspenseful moments even more hard-hitting. So you've got a little bit of depth behind Clara Lago's character, who's an absolutely beautiful and good Spanish actress. I thought her character was by far the best, but apart from that, every other character feels a little bit shallow. And so when the bad things are happening, yes, you get that sense of dread is because of what you're seeing and how these set pieces are shot, but ultimately I thought that you could have cared a little bit more if these people were portrayed as people that could be your friend, as opposed to actually characters in a film. You never actually feel that these people are realistic. You feel as though they're playing their part in a film, in a very good suspense film, but ultimately a film that could have been a little bit better than it was. I thought it didn't really have a lot of patience really setting the platform for what was going on. Yes, you got this guy in a wheelchair, and you've got this relationship that's starting to blossom between the guy in the wheelchair and this woman, but I thought it was very force-fed. I thought it wasn't very patient in what it was trying to do. And so with a little bit more time and a little bit more drag out, I thought it could have actually given you that authentic sort of chemistry between these two characters, but unfortunately the chemistry in everything in this film, as far as the characters are concerned, is non-existent. So it does take you out, but in the end what it is a shallow sort of suspense, good old-fashioned suspense movie. If you like films from Jaime Balaguerro, you're probably going to like this movie. I thought there were moments that really could have improved itself, but it doesn't take those opportunities, so unfortunately it does prevent it from being a masterpiece, but it's still definitely a movie worth your time if you are a fan of this type of thing. So overall, for At the End of the Tunnel, going to give it 3.5 stars. Go out there and see it. Alright guys, that's it for my review. Hope you enjoyed it. Till next time, keep watching movies, and I'll see you later.